Well, hi there, everyone. I'm coming to you today with this week's weigh-in and just a little chat about what the meeting was about at WW. So this week's weigh-in, I was quite surprised. I went down 1.4 of the several pounds that I gained over the last few weeks. It was a little bit of a surprise because I really didn't do much different, to be honest with you. I apologize for the background noise. I really cannot find a quiet place to do a video at this point in my home. Anyway, so with regard to going down 1.4, you could assume it was water weight, inflammation. I'm hoping that I will get down the rest of it in the next couple weeks, giving myself grace. And I think that based on our meeting topic, this month was Celebrate Your Journey for WW. And this week's technique was non-scale victories and how important non-scale victories are for us to consider, because ultimately, if we don't focus on them at times, it will be detrimental to our overall success in weight loss and in getting healthy. I kind of think that's true. I think I've talked about this topic myself in a couple videos. It's come up a couple times, and how, especially if you've had a period of time where you've fallen off the wagon, so to speak, as many people call it. How do you get yourself out of that? How do you get your mindset back into the game? And it really is good to focus on non-scale victories. Well, okay, let's say you've been working on this for a year, this weight loss thing, and you come across stumbles in your road here and there, and you win some, you gain some, you lose some, sometimes you maintain, and you go through all that process, and then you sabotage. I call it sabotage. I'm not saying you should, but because it is sabotage. It's, to me, when I go off the wagon all the way in past, it's because I'm either having emotional issues and binge eating at night, which is a big one for me. And how is that taking care of myself? Am I putting myself first? I don't think so. Not in that case. So when I feel I am taking care of myself, it is when I am focusing on, okay, the positive. What have I done that's really working? How many things do I have in my list that I've changed, even if it's one thing that you've changed? I haven't tracked in 2 weeks. Okay, so let's start with tracking a couple meals today. And over time, maybe a few days, we'll track everything again. Get ourselves back to where we were in that really good place. But the non-scale victories are the positive things that we oftentimes, when we end up focusing on that darn scale, the scale to me is a tool. It is simply that. Just like the scale that I weigh my food on is a tool. I have other tools. I have a lap band. I take medication. These are tools. The tools don't do it by themselves. We do it. We grab those tools out of our tool bag as we need them and manipulate them in a way that gets us down that road and gets us past the stumbles. Does that make sense? Part of that is focusing on your non-scale victories. Yes, before you get on the scale, it's important to think about what went well for me this week. Did anything go well? I'm sure something went well. You can find something if you dig deep enough. Or maybe you won't, maybe this week nothing went well, but maybe the week before a lot of things went well. And it was because of what you did that they went well. It wasn't because, for me, the lap band didn't do it. The Contrave didn't do it. The app didn't do it. It's because I took charge of myself and used those tools to make things get better for me. So ultimately, it's important, I think, to give ourselves grace. We are not perfect. This is not about being perfect. If you're going to try and do this to be perfect, I can tell you right now, I will tell you what's in store for you. You're going to be very disappointed. Anything that is too drastic, for me anyway, is not going to last very long. To me, I think at this point in my life, what got me to lose these pounds that weren't coming off is that I was able to finally focus on the non-scale victories before I focused on what was in the scale. Because however long it would take to come off, if it was going to even come off, because initially I didn't even think it would, I have to not focus on that part. I have to focus on all the other things that are going to get me to that part, which is, am I prepping some meals? Am I tracking my food? Am I drinking my water? Am I doing my movements, whatever it may be, however you are able to move? We can't all move the same. I know I can't. I'm not a bodybuilder, but for me, did I do any steps today? Okay, so I've only done 4,000 or 5,000 when I wanted to do between 10 and 14. So am I going to look at it as, oh, I didn't do 10 and 14? Or am I going to say, well, gee, at least I got to 4,000? Because let me tell you, a year ago, I had days when I was doing 1,000 to 2,000, more 1,000 than 2,000. So that's an accomplishment. And I think when we focus on our non-scale victories, we start to feel better. Hey, yeah, gee, I didn't think about that. Make a journal. Some people like to write. Talking to your phone. Some people have journals in their phones. What went well today? Random thoughts that come to you that are positive thoughts that you didn't think about maybe. Or maybe watch somebody else's videos and see how they're doing. And maybe you can look at someone else and say, gee, they're down in the dumps. They're feeling very badly, but look at all the other good things they've done. And then maybe you'll start to think about the things that you've done. Because for me, helping other people, or at least acknowledging other people that I watch and understanding their plight, as I'll call it, helps me to be more focused. It may not be for everyone, but that does help me. So before you step on the scale, again, people could say, well, you're obsessed with the scale. You weigh every day. I don't weigh every day because I'm obsessed with the scale. I assure you, I use that scale as a tool. I monitor. I pay attention to what I've eaten in the day. And I can pretty much tell you that I'm going to know whether or not tomorrow is going to be a gain. But at least I just get on there to acknowledge it and then to move forward. It does not hold me back when I get on the scale. I don't want to wait a week. And again, that's what we do at WW. That's what, Nutrisystem may profess that we should do, and other plans. I don't want to wait a week from now, because I could be like, oh, I didn't gain. It was just a little bit of extra. Oh, I didn't gain. Oh, I just ate a little off plan. And then I get on a week later and I'm like, oh my God, the scale went up. I didn't think I did so bad. I tracked my food. I was doing this. I was doing all these things I'm supposed to. And now, oh my goodness, I have a gain. So for me, I would rather go day to day and see where I'm at. But again, I'm not here to tell other people what to do, because some people do get very obsessed with the scale, and I understand that. And it could be detrimental. But for me, this is why it's positive. So in any event, that's what the meeting was about. I think that it was a good meeting in terms of the technique. It was a very good topic to talk about because it is very relevant to our journeys. I believe it is. And if we're not thinking about that, then it can be detrimental if we're just focusing on that scale, because that scale can make you feel pretty crappy if it's not going in the direction you expect. And if you put this pound goal, which I've done many times. There's been times in my life I've lost 5 pounds in a week. I don't want to tell you what I had to do that, and the insanity that I look back on and say, what were you even thinking? But I did what I did. I was young and invincible and whatever. Being able to not put, okay, this week I want to focus on losing a pound. I think that could be a little bit dangerous at times. I don't know if dangerous is the right word, but it could be a setup for not doing so well and falling off that wagon. Rather than focus on, I'm going to lose a pound this week, focus on all the things that are going to possibly get you to lose next week. The things that have helped you in the past, your tools. Focus on using your tools is really more prepping your food, tracking your food, and all those things that you have in your tool bag. We all have a little bit different things in our tool bag, but for the most part, we have a lot of things the same, I think. And because putting, oh, I'm going to lose 2 pounds this week out there, and then what happens when you don't lose the 2 pounds? Are you going to think about all the good things that you did? Maybe you lost 0.2. Maybe you just maintained. And maybe 3 days after you get on that scale, the scale's going to drop. We don't know. So anyway, without further ado, I am going to close out this video. I'm going to thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm going to say I will see you in the next one, and thank you very much again, and bye now.